I'm John Motter. I'm a farmer here in Hancock County, Gennaro, Ohio. We grow corn and soybeans. Here in Hancock County, I'm a third generation farmer on a farm that was started by my grandmother during World War II. Dad always told me that you had to be making money while you slept. If you didn't have crops growing or you didn't have livestock in the barn, you couldn't make money when your eyes were closed. We grew up in a family farm where we were a team. I still remember that no one could go anywhere on Friday night unless everyone had their work done. Dad wanted us to have livestock, so we started with a gilt when I was 8 years old. And from that point on, I grew a swine herd. When I was 14, the neighbor lady came to me and said, "I have a field I want you to plant soybeans in." Coming out of high school, I went to Ohio State, and I stayed in Ohio State until the end of my sophomore year when my father was involved in a serious car accident, and I stayed home to do the harvest. That was a tragic evening in the middle of, at the end of April in 1979, when my father was killed on a bobcat. I was 25. Dad always taught me to leave the ground better than we found it and be a steward to the land that we're farming. I get up every morning thinking about those two things. We rotationally no-till here, a lot of clay content in this part of the country. We do a lot of conservation practices. We do a lot of subsurface drainage. We do grass waterways. I've got a containment system for my nutrients. I just recently retired from the United Soybean Board, and I've spent about the last 15 years promoting soybeans. Still working with the Nutrient Stewardship Council, being that what's up next thing is how do we keep those nutrients on the ground. But when I reach back, I've spent a lot of time at the fair. I had 28 years on the fair board. I had 12 years in the soil and water office as a supervisor. I spent probably at least another 12 years on the advisory council for extension. I spent 8 years as a member of the state extension advisory board. Community-wise, I've done a lot of things in the leadership programs.
Gary Wilson, live here in Hancock County. Care of the land, conservation, being up to date with technology, no matter if that's genetics or other forms of that, being a leader, helping others aspire, figuring out ways to be successful. Farming is one of those occupations where you never know what next year is going to bring. It's always a new year, and we don't know if it's going to be the best year or the worst year, but we're going to try to make it the best year. And John was always very noted for doing the best and trying new things and being very, very good at what he does.
I always looked up to those gentlemen that have been so honored, and I am so impressed that I'm like, I think I'm going to have to up my game to be more like some of those that have been given this award in the past. It means to make proper decisions, to be that steward of the land, to find ways to make it better and leave it better for the next generation. What can we do tomorrow that we've learned from yesterday and advance our industry?